Hi there, just a heads up on what the end of 2 looks like, so I'll just check where we are with that. Yep, so 9:02, you should get to the point where you've got something that looks like this. In fact, I'll turn that guy off, turn him off, and let's get going. So I hit play, hit seat, get them both in. I can see all my timers start for the characters. I'm going to hit order on just one character and it unticks an uncooked burger. I'll see over here that it brings up a actual burger for me on this spot. And that's pretty much where we are at the end of 2. We can start to convert that into something a bit more as we go along. But we'll start out there. Oh, one thing I should probably say, just as something that was holding back the order, it was a flowchart, I believe, in here. Yes, I had burgers uncooked equal to 0, whereas they had to be greater than 0. That was holding the whole process. So you can see that just one small thing will slow everything down, unfortunately. Okay, so I'm going to dive in and start to do the various timers here, and this is in the flowchart share, so I'll untag, tick this as active so I don't lose anything, and I'll go in and on the order and serve, I'll start in with some labels. I'll start in with some flow. I'll say flow label start, and I'll say flow jump, and jump to start. That's good. And do the usual sort of wait 1 second, wait 1 second, and then I can do set variable, set variable, order timer. Since I've got all these set up ahead of time, I can I've got to order a timer. That's interesting. Okay, I've got to add that. I somehow missed that out. So what I'll do is I'll put that into the flowchart as well. Yeah, okay. Yeah, that's not in there. Order timer, and probably order timer total. Right. And just sort that out. Sorry, I'll pause this while I insert that into the spreadsheet. So for this, I better put in the order timer. So I'll do integer, make it private, order timer, and then add one integer, order timer total. And okay, so then I can get an order timer, make it plus equals 1. Yep, and then send message, flow, send message, update diner GUI, update diner GUI, and obviously I'll have to make a new text entry for that, the order timer. So then I have a bit of an if statement, so I'll say flow if While I'm there, I'll stick in an end, flow end, and I'll say if burger order served is true equals true, then set variable order time total equals, and again we can bring in a variable here. We can say order time. Then we can say once they get their burger served, they get automatic happiness. So we'll say set variable no, not save variable. So I'll say set variable happiness plus equals 1. Very good. Okay. Send message. Update Diner GUI. That's fine. And then if burger temp is greater than or equal to 6. Well, I don't have a burger temp yet. Yeah, I'll just leave that for now. And that's another happiness thing. So what I can do is just at the end here, just say flow call, and then we'll call eat. And again, you know, like anything, you can add in, like I'm going to add in the burger temperature later, and that will be actually on the waiter portion of things. So we can do that in a little bit. All right, so I've done as much of the order timer as I care to at the moment. Order timer and serve. Now I'm going to move on to the eat. So in this, again, what I'll do is I'll start out with a command that will give me a random integer, actually. And I'll do that for eat time total, and I'll give it a minimum value of 20, a maximum value of 30. Just to tick that over. And again, I can actually copy and paste my timer thing. So if I copy that and paste it into eat, I can get rid of the things I don't need. So in fact, I'll get rid of some of these. So I'll go, this will go to pay. I need 2 ends. And this is send message update Diner GUI is further up. So random integer label. Then we do an if. We don't need that. So if eat timer is less than eat timer total, is less than or equal to eat timer total, then we get into the loop and we set variable eat timer plus equals 1, so that's managing the eat timer. Then we can do an if statement, flow if, after the send message, And if eat timer is greater than or equal to eat time total, this is just ticking through the eat timer. So first we set up a random time between 20 and 30. Then we start our loop, and we check the eat timer against that randomly generated value, wait for a second, increment it, and then that's when as long as it's less than or equal. If after implementation it becomes equal to or greater than eat time total, it exits out to pay, but otherwise it'll just loop back to the start. So there's my eat, and now I just have to do the pay. And again, this is another sort of situation with the timer, and I can actually copy this one. And you have to be careful that you're not like keeping or changing old variables that you've already pasted in here. But in this case, it helps, I think, a little bit to actually paid equals true to do a bit of a cut and paste. I'll delete that. Pay time total equals pay timer. So that just maxes out the pay time total value to the final value of the timer. And then we can call the happiness block. And I might even just put in another one of these just to update it if it's stopping it. So that's good. Then we'll go happiness, check that. And then this is happiness is fairly involved. It's a lot of ifs and else ifs. So we'll say flow, if, and flow, else if, then end, flow, end. So I'm going to do this for 1. So we'll say if order time total is less than or equal to 120, we can say variable, set variable, and that will be happiness plus equals to 1. Plus equals 1. Else if, copy, paste. In this case, we would decrement it if it's greater than 120. So slightly different in the else if, remember, if the happiness is down here is. And of course, this is set up slightly differently if it's greater than or equals, as in text. And again, we can say for integer, we can say 120. So it's just a matter of finding those values. So what we can do is copy and paste this for all the other values, which will be 2 more, I believe. So we can do that for wait time total. And if the wait time total, I'll do that for 60. Oh, I've got a mistake here. So I need order time total. That's bad. Okay. So again, wait time total. again 60, enter, happiness, increment, end. So final one is pay time total. As long as it's 60 or less. And remember, we've made that wrong, so just check it there. And then we have to set the variable. So we have to add all those happiness values to an overall happiness. So we actually get that from the game manager, and we'll get the happiness score from the game manager. And we'll plus and equals it to, and not a number, but we can get the actual happiness here. So we can get the happiness from this diner, add it to the overall happiness, which is in the flowchart game manager. So that's how that happens. And then we'll also do an update diner GUI. And as well, we'll do an update GUI. And that has to go to all flowcharts. So it does the general one. And then we have to call tip stop. Call the tip block. And we can calculate our tip. Alright, so tip. Then tip if. Let's check the recording. Yeah, that's good. Then for if we're going to see if happiness is above 2, so if there's 2 happiness kind of values that have been incremented, then we will set the variable tip to be times equals happiness. So the tip is at least 1, so that's multiplying that. Then we do the other set variable, which is flowchart game manager tip score plus equals tip. So that's the tip that you just calculated. We'll set the variable to for paid equal to true, as you have paid now. And in fact, we'll get that from the card. And then we'll say update diner GUI and update GUI. Okay. And set variable diner active equals false. And end. So add a flow end, and then do a final. We'll set do a variable, sorry, a scripting. We say set active, and we say flowchart diner equals false. In this case, we'll have to maybe flowchart share, I should say. In this case, and flowchart share equals false. So that's turning that off for you, rather than being turned off by the iPad. So it turns itself off. So then we just have to check that we've got update GUI in the overall game manager setup, which we do not. So we need happiness, tips, and timer. Yep, happiness, tips. So happiness and tips. So in that case, what we'll do is we need some more text. Probably want to get something from this range. And I'll say copy. Say copy on this. Copy and paste. We'll say happiness and tips. Great. So select those, drag them down. Great. And do the usual. So in the flowchart, copy, paste, paste. So this is going to be uncooked. Oh, no, not uncooked. This is going to be, oops. It's going to be happiness. And this fellow will be tips. Text will be happiness. This is overall happiness. There we go. Happiness score. Happiness score. Great. And then we have tips. So tips. And that can just be tips score. Tips score. Great. So getting there with all that. So we call update GUI. That's calling that. Now that is it for our part 3. I think I'll save that out. And we'll do a quick run of that, see if that actually works. And it should do. So let's have a look at that. As I said, not everything may be working straight away. May still have to implement things. So if I do the seat, I've got my guys, set the order. What I have to do now is make it so I can go pick up the burger and actually serve it to them. That's the final bit. So I think this is going to be more or less a week 10 situation. But you can see that we've got all the correct sort of timers going on. They may be going off a bit there because they're a bit out of space. So we'll see about that. I might check the order timer, see if that's something a bit funnier going on. So let's have a look at that. So I'll just say 110. And also check how the order timer is being activated. Okay, sent. Order and serve every 1 second. Yeah. Yeah, it seems about right. I think it's just a size thing of the text. Yeah. Okay. Yep, so let's just check that now. Oh, I've already activated them. Okay. See him. Do the order. And let that tick over for a bit. So what we'll do for the part 4, actually it'll be more like week 10, we'll be linking up having it so we can pick up the burger and serve it to the customer, and having like an onboard sort of like carrying bit. So you can see, yeah, the order timer is now viewable all the time here. I just had to stretch out the actual size of that. Okay, so happy with that, and I will stop it there.